Welcome to Resource Thursday with Huntress. I'm your host, Paco Lebron. This is a place to learn how to run your IT service business, whether you're a one-person shop or leading a team to the journey. This is the place for you. Let me go ahead and introduce my co-host. We have none other than Rick Smith over at Renactus Technology. Rick, how the heck are you, my friend?
Doing good today, my friend. Doing good. It's Thursday. Sun sort of shining, but I'm doing good. And you?
It's snowing. It's a little gloomy, but I can't complain too much. As I like to say, things are better than good, better than most, as it always is here in the, I guess, gloomy side of Chicago for today. So, but we're excited today to have two great guests. They are both had appeared at TechCon Unplugged last year, 2022. They were part of a pre-day event that we had for incident response, which was a hit according to our attendees, and a great presentation to know a little bit more about what Huntress is doing. We have Ethan Tancredi over at Huntress, who is the sales engineer. And we have David Britton, who is the account executive over at Huntress as well. Ethan, David, how are you both doing today?
Doing great. Excited to be here, with you, Paco and Rick, talking about Huntress, and really had a great time at the show last year. It was fantastic being able to hear what you were sharing for the community and helping educate MSP partners and service providers.
Great to hear.
Yeah,
Great to hear. How
I
about you,
agree
David?
completely, Ethan. It was just a phenomenal event. I know you and I talked, post event, and it was just a great opportunity to have conversations with MSPs and help them understand what their daily pain points were and their struggles. You and I both coming out of the MSP community, we feel that pain. We understand that challenge every day. But it was just an absolute joy to be there and work with those MSPs. And thank you, Paco and Rick, for giving us the opportunity to be here today and continue to invest in the community, because that's what Huntress is about, is educating and protecting the 99% and raising those SMBs above that cybersecurity poverty line, which we see every single day. So thank you for having us. We're looking forward to a good dialogue today.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it just goes to the amount of investment that the Huntress company in general has done for the community, and the goodwill and just the investment, not even just on the services, but just in the community itself, outside of your own products, inside of your own people. It just seems like everyone that's involved in that company just really gives the most of themselves, whether it's their skill set, where they came from, and then obviously driving the Huntress mission, which is a mission that's followed and probably adopted by quite a bit of the community as well. But before we go into Huntress and kind of know a little bit more about Huntress, I want to talk about something that we all just kind of hinted at from last year's show, and my favorite thing to talk about, and that's TechCon Unplugged. TechCon Unplugged 2023 is around the corner, 9 months from here. Can you believe it, Rick? And I say it's around the corner 9 months because it's just going to fly for us as it goes along. But we're in a new place. We'll be in Woodbridge, New Jersey, September 7th to the 10th at the Delta Hotels Woodbridge. Join us for an evening mixers as we kick off 2.5 days of content. That's right, folks. You heard 2.5 days worth of content to help your business save money, save time, and improve your services. This show is for any size IT solution provider. As mentioned in the intro, that's what we do. So that means if you're an emerging MSP or you're a veteran in the space, it's the place for you. Tickets will go live, to my understanding, or have gone live when this is gone, this past Monday, January 9th, for early bird. Early bird pricing is $199. Go ahead, head over to techconunplug.com to get your tickets today. All righty, folks. So again, Ethan, David, really appreciate you both coming in here on this morning, talking a little bit more about Huntress. But as the community who may not know Huntress or may have heard of Huntress, but don't know what you all do, what is Huntress?
I'll take that to start, and David jump in and chime in. I'll talk kind of the technical side. So, what we are is we are a managed security platform, and people are like, "Well, what does that mean?" I mean, let's throw some more acronyms at people, confuse them even more, so they don't even know what we do, right? Um, and I hated that when I was on the MSP side. So, what we are is we have at the core, we have a 24/7 threat ops team located in Australia, the UK, and the US, who are looking at events coming in from our platform that we are able to detect things that are getting by next generation antiviruses. And we're able to look at persistence. I mean, that's where Huntress started, with persistence. You've heard of advanced persistent threat actors, right? That's the P. And that is what our founders who came out of the NSA, they were all about persistence for our government on other systems. And they were like, oh, there's a business here that we can help businesses find persistence. That was still is our bread and butter, where we are finding those things that start up at auto run. But over the past couple of years since we've last been talking to you on the podcast, the platform has evolved tremendously, where we are really this managed detection platform, where we are a full, one of those things that insurance, right? They're driving a lot of compliance and change in the industry. So one of the buzzwords, if you will, is, do you have an EDR, endpoint detection and response, which is this change of you have your next generation antivirus, whatever that is trying to stop things getting on a system. Well, EDR is the next step, which is, something got by that next generation AV. Now can you find those threat actors doing really shady things on the box? And Huntress checks that insurance tick mark for a managed EDR solution. And that means that our threat hunters who are at that, or that threat ops team who are looking at the data coming in are analyzing systems. And one of the key things to understand with Huntress is we set up a team intentionally internationally so that people aren't chugging Red Bull in the middle of the night, pulling all-nighters. That we know when people are, most aware. I know as an MSP, sure, I pulled some all-nighters, but I never was as effective in the middle, at 2 a.m. trying to do something. And we have these craft trained threat ops analysts who are looking at this information and sending over reports to our partners. And if it's really nasty, we see a hands-on threat actor on an environment, we'll do something called host isolation, where we will take that EDR information, determine that there's something nasty, really bad going on. And even if it's 1 a.m. in the morning, we will block that machine from being able to talk to the network and save that environment. Or we'll deploy it, knock a whole network offline if we are worried that something really nasty is spreading, whether that's because we're seeing ransomware canaries get tricked. We had an incident, it's probably a month ago now, where we saw ransomware started to spread on workstations. We couldn't tell what was doing it. We isolated 100 machines. That partner, we protected 97 of the machines roughly in that environment, stopped them from getting ransomware. There was an unfortunate part. This particular partner did not actually have Huntress deployed on every single endpoint. So there were some servers that we weren't on. Always a good just public service announcement. Whatever your security tools are, put them on everything. Don't there's not this is the most valuable. But that is really, we are this managed security platform now. And with that 24/7 threat ops team where we are doing managed EDR, that's the key takeaway. But we've developed some other parts of our platform. David, do you want to talk about them for a little bit?
Yeah, thanks, Ethan, and fabulous intro there. I've got some demos lined up today. I'll just send you the Zoom link and you can do them for me. How about that?
You got it.
Again, I think the operative word with Huntress is managed. So much of what you and I experienced in the MSP community was, the level 2s and level 3s running around at Mach 3 with their hair on fire, fixing backplanes in a server and doing all of these things. But people, even at the help desk, not having time to filtrate, correlate, validate data that was coming in from, their AV, or if they had an EDR, they were getting alerts in the middle of the night, but no one was watching the front door and back door. So that managed part of Huntress really provides them with, or solves a problem of having a cybersecurity expert on hand, because let's face it, they're just too expensive to have. And even if you want to go out and outsource it to a SOC, a lot of times that's not scalable for the MSP or the SMB that's being supported. So Huntress comes in and solves that people problem for you, and will have eyes on glass 24/7. And like you mentioned, can be even proactive. And I think what has really resonated with our partners and peer groups has been that it's not AI, it's not ML. These are humans that are making really incredibly difficult decisions. And the reason we decided to go with the human component is because we believe they have better fidelity and insight into the totality of an environment, to what you just spoke of, the incident that I saw in the ThreatOps Slack feed, and hypercare that we moved into. The humans, these are just wicked smart people that are absolutely capable of doing some almost miraculous things. I mean, there are times that I sit back after a demo and I think about who's really behind what we're doing. And the other thing is, we talked about the EDR that we rolled out, and the success that it has had, and what it's picking up. And, if for an MSP to sit there and say, well, we have an EDR. Okay. The next question is, all right, well, who is, correlating, validating, filtrating all of that data for you? Who's looking at those speeds and feeds? And in discussions, if the question or the answer comes back, well, we are, well, the next question is inevitably, well, are you doing that 24/7? Are you doing that on the weekends? Are you doing it on the holidays? Because if the tool does its job, but yet you don't see it for 3 days, and you come in on Monday and a whole environment's pwned, what's the real value there? So with Huntress, we're managing all of those data sets that are coming out of our EDR and using that on top of the rest of the stack in the managed security platform to protect our partners. And we're really kind of looking at the front door and the back door. And so many tools that are in the marketplace, which are great at what they do, they're just there for the front door. But these hackers now have become incredibly intelligent into ways to get into environments. And the other thing that I would talk about is, what's the biggest pain point that MSPs face today? And it's, at least from my perspective, when I came out 11 months ago, it was time, money, and resources. Man, everything was about margins. Everything was about growing monthly recurring revenue. So Huntress is really priced so that the business case is, hey, you can come in and onboard Huntress at the price of what you'd pay for a next-gen AV, and now you have a fully managed security platform. And as you spoke of, Ethan, I mean, it's going to check the MDR box on cybersecurity insurance forms. It's going to check the EDR box. And soon we've got a tool coming out. I know I can say this because we're mentioning it, but we've got an Office 365 product that's going to be coming out into beta either late Q1 or early Q2. They're doing trials on it now, and it's going to be phenomenal. That'll be an additional stack or additional tool in the stack. And then we acquired Curricula, which is a security awareness training company. We acquired them in the summer. We now have an opportunity to provide not only security awareness training, but phishing simulations as well. It's just an incredible platform that we used internally before we acquired them. And so far, the partners have absolutely fallen in love with that product and the ease of use and the way that it resonates with the real world, the real world scenarios. Because what we're doing, Paco, and this is kind of really interesting, is we're taking what our threat ops team is seeing in the wild, and then we're taking this back to the team that we brought over from Curricula and saying, okay, go out and write real world scenarios based on what we just saw 2 weeks ago. So that episode for that training is now not only valid, but it is almost current events like, if you will. And so it's really educational and will stick with people. So I hope we answered that question to your liking. There's a lot going on at Huntress, but I think managed is the big takeaway.
Sure. No, definitely a lot to unpack there, right? And so, you know, and for disclaimer for everyone listening, I am a Huntress partner. I have been a Huntress partner for many years. And so to see the growth on just from the real life threat hunting and persistent foothold to the expansion of the product with the EDR, now with being able to do managed AV, and now with Curricula, which is so funny enough, I happen to have been a Curricula partner prior to the acquisition. So, and it was one of those where I was saying, man, do I kind of, you know, and I love Nick and the guy and the people over there. And I was like, you know, it doesn't integrate with anything. Like, I need something that's going to kind of give me a little bit more. And then I saw the announcement. So that kind of helped solidify my, my choice. And I love the content, love the people again, as I mentioned earlier about all that. So a lot to talk about, obviously Huntress being that security platform. Rick, when it comes to being able to, you know, as Huntress kind of explained on what, you know, just the landscape that we're in right now, and the fact that, you know, our peers are just trying to figure out how to get ahead of all of this, you know, how for you and you running your MSP in your IT solution providing business, how are you kind of looking at these things similar to how what Huntress just mentioned on what they're trying to provide to help that 99% to kind of stay hopefully one step ahead in mitigating the risk for your clients?
Well, I think of it this way. In running a business, you always have to think about, you know, you think about cost of what you're spending, what goes out. You also have to think about the value you're bringing to your customers or your clients, whatever you want to call them. And you have to think about, you know, the truth is that one of our sole purposes and biggest purposes is to protect our clients, right? Sometimes from themselves, but definitely from the outside community. And what Huntress offers is basically, and if you think about it from the perspective of if you're small, right? Now I've come from a one-person shop to a couple of employees now, but I'm still small. I don't have the margin, or I don't have the finances to hire a full-time tech that's going to sit in front of the glass all the time with the expertise to know what's happening and have that happen 24 hours a day. I think that is one of the greatest values you get, is knowing now, hey, you can say to your clients, I partner with a company who is watching, who is, you know, who's got eyes on glass 24 hours when I'm trying to sleep, so I don't have to worry about it at night, you know, because I'm at 2 a.m. If, you know, on traditional, let's just say traditional AV or traditional way it's done, you get an alert, you know, you get an email, right? This says something is wrong somewhere. And at 2 a.m., you may or may not get up to answer that. So, you know, it's good to know someone has your back. And that's probably the best way I can look at it is to say, hey, someone has my back. I've partnered with a group of professionals who are watching out for you. So if something goes wrong, as Ethan said, they can isolate the machine, kick it off the network so that doesn't spread. So tomorrow when I wake up at 6 and check my email, I don't find out disaster has struck across, you know, across a whole network or a slew of networks. So that is, I think, you know, when I think about it, I think about value, and I think about from the size I am and what I'm looking to offer to my clients. That is one of the, you know, the best ways I see that you can offer value to your clients and offer them security.
And Rick, what I would say, just as from my MSP days, was that our clients, at least my clients, always assumed I was looking at that 2 a.m. email, right? And so this way, there is somebody who's taking action and protecting them, because as both you and Paco know, like, it is no longer just this guy in a hoodie sitting in a basement who is a hacker. These are real businesses that are going on. Like, there is cyber crime. It is a real crime. Like, they got HR departments. They have, you know, employees with referral bonuses. It is a real business that they're trying to monetize off of the the customers that you all are as small MSPs are protecting. Like there's money in it, for them to go after and try and get. And so that threat landscape has continued to evolve, and it's why you can drive some value to your clients by keeping up with that changing threat landscape. One of the other things one of the reasons I came to Huntress from the MSP side was that partnership ability as well, where I loved the ability when I was on the MSP, I did have Huntress, that I could leverage the Huntress Threat Ops team by asking questions. And I encourage our partners to do this all the time, that, you see something sketchy on a machine, start a chat with our team. And because we always say there is no solution that's 100%. This is why you need defense in depth, right? You need multiple layers of security. And one of the great things of a partnership is that even if Huntress misses something, which we have occasionally done, we don't like nobody likes to miss anything, but we've had partners who've said, hey, this looks like a miss. And sure enough, they've brought things to our attention, or they've helped us find something before it got nasty. And that's what a true partnership is where you both help each other out. And it's one of the core tenets of Huntress.
Yeah. I mean, I think for just as a partner in general, right? And I think, and way back in the beginning, we supplemented Huntress on top of our AV at that point, before the managed AV had came out. And it's just, there was a confidence in there where, and I tell this and Rick laughs at me all the time when I say this, where, you have the owners and the people leadership running Huntress that as their hobby, they're hunting bad guys. Right? Like they're literally doing this as their hobby to get to do outside of the services that they do. So it's genuinely of what they're doing what they preach, right? And so, just on the things that they've appeared on, they discovered, just in the company as a whole, right? And so every time I say that, I say, if there's one vendor that I have absolute confidence in to help mitigate my risk is Huntress, and that has been consistent throughout everything going on. So when I told everyone, all right, well, I'm dropping my AV and I'm going to go have just managed Defender. My current director of IT operations, when he ran his MSP, his solution providing business, he did full Defender, but he didn't have the management aspect of it. And he was like, I did this for several years before I sold and exited my business. I had no problems. And now that we have that management piece, and kind of what it was explained to me was, obviously we've heard that Defender is now up there and one of the top AVs to help mitigate a lot of the risks that are kind of going on, but also, and my rep, David Alcatraz Duran had said, hey, look, let's say Defender does miss something. Well, we're watching it. So we're going to let you know if there's going to be something going on as well, right? So now you have that managed AV, that next gen quote unquote AV, which I still think is a stupid marketing term, but that's just me. But so I just, it's one of those where it's like you have that full confidence, right? And being able to do that. But as Rick mentioned too, Huntress is doing this in an ability where it's not a barrier of resistance for someone to do this, to increase their security posture, right? And that's really what it's all about. And the fact that you all are trying to really just give the tools that our industry needs in one place is just huge, in my opinion, right? Down to even being able to have the Mac agent, which was something that I desperately needed because half of my endpoints are Mac clients, and for right or wrong, but this is something that where it's this notion that Macs are impenetrable and that they are whatever the case may be. But unfortunately, for compliances, for transparency, for reporting, unfortunately, you do got to open some things up and tweak some things, and that does cause some things going on, even down to the Tradecraft Tuesday that you all did to kind of explain the mythical Mac OS scenario. It shows that they're as much vulnerable in a different light than they are with the Windows PC counterparts. So having Huntress available and the ease of use of deploying that as a managed service provider for us has been huge. So it just goes to show that you all are listening. You all are really trying to figure out kind of what's, good on what's good, what's great, and how can you help in building that resistance, right? So not only are you helping users save money by consolidating some of the tools there are tools that are already there to help with management, but you're also helping save the time on being able to say, okay, we're monitoring all this. We will shoot an alert to you. And not only will we shoot the alert to you, we have amazing integrations with your PSAs that are going to let you know in real time, hey, there's something going on, right? And even down to saving the time of the remediation path of being able to have a one button click. No, like you all explain, all right, here's what we call it. Now, this is how you do to fix it. You even say, we're not confident that you're going to fix it this way, so you need to nuke this bad boy so it can go ahead and just make sure that, you're on the safe. So like, there's a lot of these things that really constitute and really speak on not only just, everyone's, especially going into the new year, everyone's a little bit worried about the incoming R word, the incoming, what does that look like? Some businesses are playing it safe. And so, as a managed service provider and IT solutions provider business, you have to take a look at costs. You have to take a look at what you're trying to do. And maybe this is an opportunity to reevaluate, not compromising that security, but also with that quality of being able to help as well. So, again, really just highlighting the points of how this Huntress is going to be able to help you save money, save your time, and importantly, improve your services. Because if this is something you're not offering, which you should be, this is a great opportunity to kind of dive into that as well. Rick, is there anything? Oh, Ethan, look like you had something to say.
Well, I was just going to, one other thing I was going to mention on top of the saving money is that new this year, or new last year, still getting used to that we're in the new year, but new last year, we introduced what we called the Neighborhood Watch Program, which was a $5 million investment by Huntress into MSPs. We know that MSPs are our target, and sometimes MSPs don't protect their systems with the tools that they have. And this is our investment into this community to say, we're going to provide internal use licenses of our product to MSPs if you sign up with our Neighborhood Watch Program. And so I would totally encourage the community, especially with that, what's going to go on with the economy, at least take care of yourself. Like, we are a target. So, I advocate take that action at least. I'm sure we'll include that in the show notes.
Yeah, and it's not an NFR, so let's be real clear. You don't have to be a Huntress partner to use it. Yes, part of the Neighborhood Watch program is you do go through a trial because we want to make sure that you understand the tool that you're going to be using to protect your MSP. But you do not have to purchase from Huntress, purchase agents, and become a partner. We will still reward you with enough agents to protect your house, your MSP. And that's where that $5 million investment comes from. And it's grown from a $5 million investment exponentially because it's been so wildly successful. And I'm sure, Ethan, at your MSP, just like where I came from, we did a better job supporting our clients than we did our own house. And so this is a way for us to help the MSP community and let them know, hey, we care about the community and we want to invest in you and make sure that at least your house is protected. And whether you decide to do business with Huntress or not, we're going to offer that to you so that you can be protected.
Perfect. Now, Rick, as far as, just everything that we've talked about here, and as we kind of roll out unto the end of the show here, any feedback or anything that you've heard in this conversation that really resonated with you as you try to kind of move forward with your security posture, and with just on what Huntress has said, what the landscape has said, and kind of everything in between?
Well, I do. We had this conversation, Ethan and Dave. I'm not sure if you guys remember this, but we talked about Defender and how Huntress can now help with Defender. And yes, I see all of the news or all of the reports that Defender is high up on the scale of protecting machines. But let's be honest, it is Microsoft, and we have that sense of uncertainty sometimes, let me just put it that way, that Defender is enough. You guys, we had a conversation about this, and I think it is one of the things that may using Defender may be a little bit of a hindrance for a lot of people, or trusting Defender may be a hindrance to a lot of people. But you guys, yeah, you gave me a convincing conversation in that. So if you have just explain to the audience basically why Defender and that it's better than advertised, I guess we'd say.
I mean, I'll start with it. David, I know you talk to partners about this all the time, but like 5 years ago, yes, I would have looked at you sideways that you've been a MSP saying I'm protecting my clients with Defender. But really, Microsoft is pouring millions of dollars into this product because they have a cloud platform that they are protecting. And just like at this point in time, if somebody has an in-house Exchange server, you're kind of looking at them sideways going, why do you have an in-house Exchange server? Years ago when Microsoft started hosting their own Exchange, it wasn't very good. But Microsoft is going to keep rolling up this product, improving it, and making it best of breed, because at the end of the day, they need to protect their resources, and they know what that's going to take. And so this is a trial or a platform, I should say, that is only going to get better with more and more investment, because they know how it's going to impact their platform.
Yeah, I agree with you, Ethan. And, like you said, having conversations multiple times a day with prospects and partners, I'm going to go back to my real world experience. When we became a Huntress partner, we were using another really prominent third-party AV, and it did a great job. There was a lot of noise coming out of it. But once we started looking at Defender, we realized from an efficacy standpoint that it was going toe-to-toe with a lot of the legacy tools that are out there that are widely used and are, quite frankly, damn good. I mean, they're good at what they do, no doubt about it. But for us, once we realized the efficacy was there and it was the free version that was on the box, we said, well, we could take $1, which is basically what we were paying for our next gen AV, NASA acronym here, and put that towards our Huntress piggy bank. And now we had taken the lift off of our help desk, and Huntress was going to be watching that 24/7. So there was a business case being financial, and then there was the technology and cybersecurity side of that 24/7. So partners are now really beginning to adopt Defender, Rick. And what we're seeing is our numbers with Defender continue to grow as contracts with third-party AVs are beginning to expire. What people are doing is they're letting those lapse and they're rolling out Defender. And what Ethan would probably be able to speak to better than me is we see it catching things because we have fidelity to the endpoint. We see it catching things that other third-party AVs are not catching, because oftentimes partners are running too, even though Microsoft says that's a no-no. We don't own the relationship. They can do what they want. But we will see it get past some tools that are quite expensive and very good, and Defender catches it, blocks it, quarantines it, does what it needs to.
Cool. So I just, again, that was my my Achilles heel was with it. I mean, and of course, for the longest time I've been using the Huntress. I've partnered with other AV solutions or other solutions, but offering that, again, as we start talking about the R word and talking about doing things to save yourself money, it presents a viable option to save on that AV cost, and knowing that you're getting for lack of a better word, you're getting the full protection. You're getting that 24-hour protection, like I said, and I allude to this all the time. When I started this business and I was first starting out and really in the MSP side of this, I worried all the time. What if I wake up tomorrow and disaster has struck? Am I going to be blamed? Am I going to be responsible? And so it was always that chase to make sure, and nothing, of course, is guaranteed, but it was always that chase to make sure you had the right solutions to protect your clients so that you could wake up or you could sleep tonight, with a little bit of peace. And I think what you guys offer, for all MSPs, just to, again, I say this is in the value you present to your clients, saying that you partner with a company that, you know, is watching your back or watching my back to watch your back 24 hours is a valuable piece. And then, you know, the whole defender side, I'm just going to be honest. I am still in the, I'll see it when I believe it. So what I've done is I've taken 2 environments, and that's what I'm running that way, while I'll stay on the traditional side the other way until I'm convinced. But I will say I haven't had any issues. It is a little bit more work because there's 2 platforms for my tech to watch, but you know, I'm trying to get there.
And it's a process, right? So like, that's the great thing about Huntress is we work with whatever our partners want to do in their system. So you don't have to, I mean, we think it's fabulous. We love Defender, but if you don't want it, great. We can still run on top of it. It's not going to be a problem. We don't fight with these other systems. And so that's the other key thing to know about our platform is we really do design it so that it will work easily with whatever your systems are that you have in place.
Okay, cool. Now we do have, now you guys talked about the neighborhood watch. As we, you know, we're winding down towards the end of the show. We always ask these 2 questions at the end. First and foremost, is there anything that we had not talked about that you guys would like to, you know, to share with the audience?
I think we've covered all the key parts other than, you know, there is a free trial. We do a 21-day free trial. You don't have to put a credit card in or anything. I will include those in the show notes to sign up for that. We talked about the neighborhood watch. Those, like, if you are unfamiliar with our platform, those are the 2 ways to really get familiar with it with no risk to yourself.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that's important. And, you know, I would encourage people to take advantage of that, go through a trial so you learn the tool. And I will say this as someone who's been in sales for almost 30 years now. I don't want to date myself too much, but I've got more gray than Ethan does. You know, this is not a pushy environment. You know, we tell people whether you become a partner or not, we'd love to have you as a partner. But if you come back 6 years from now and join us, that's okay too. You know, we are very low pressure, and we just want to make sure that the MSPs are protected. So take advantage of that. Get those agents for your MSP, and let us protect your front door and your back door. I just appreciate the opportunity for us to be here today. Appreciate these MSPs that will be watching this. Just know we're here for you. Even if you're not a partner, follow us on social media, because it's not branded information about Huntress. It's educational. That's our first kind of charge from leadership and from our founders, is educate the community first. So when we saw Catbot, we immediately sent out something that said, hey, we're seeing a 400% increase in this in the last 60 days. We want to educate the community so they can be better prepared to act, whether they're a partner or not. So follow us, whether it's on Reddit, G2, those type places. And we're always here for you if you ever want to have a conversation. But thank you so much, Rick. This has been fabulous. And we look forward to seeing you guys in Jersey.
Good. We're looking forward to seeing you guys. My final question to both of you, it kind of just alludes to, if anyone has any further questions, you know, we will have, of course, the links for the trial, links for the neighborhood watch. But if they have any, you know, any further questions they want to ask you guys, pick your brain. What's the best way to get in touch with you? You know, and not to put you on the spot.
We can put in the show notes my email address. I have no problem giving you my ethan.tancredi@hunterslabs.com email address. Hit me up on LinkedIn. That's probably the best social media place to find me, is on LinkedIn or my email. And happy to chat, even if it's not about Huntress, just security in general, because that secure the 99%. I mean, I'm sorry if you don't think we're part of that solution for you, but I still want you to be secure. So, like, let's make sure you're secure. David, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Yeah, I would say LinkedIn. But if you have questions, if you just sign up for a trial and go ahead and move forward, at least with signing up, then you'll be put in the queue. You'll get a call from us, and you'll be assigned someone like myself, and we can have a dialogue and answer questions and and go from there. But certainly I'll put my email address in there as well, and you can just ping me and we can go from there.
Okay. We will have contact information for both of them in the show notes below. And I encourage you guys, I'm not saying necessarily bother these guys but pick their brains because, again, not to go back to TechCon, everything doesn't revolve around TechCon, but I got the opportunity to talk to them. We spent maybe 20 minutes or so. And, they're very personable guys, very great guys, and they took the time to explain to me certain questions and certain hangups I had. And I appreciate that because you don't always get that from everyone. They just want, hey, here's my product, try it, like it, love it, whatever. This is why we're the greatest. And these guys talk about security, they talk about your business. And as Ethan said, it's not necessarily just about Huntress, but how they can help you or what they, any ideas and information they can give you to help you grow your business or secure your business. So, I encourage you guys, if you haven't tried Huntress, give it a shot. Again, you can do the trial, you can check out the Neighborhood Watch. But guys, I do appreciate your time. I want to say again, Happy New Year. Thank you so much for coming on. And I'll just wind out the show with our usual. Again, tickets are now, as you're listening to this recording, tickets are now on sale for TechCon Unplugged 2023 in Woodbridge, New Jersey. So go to www.techconunplugged.com. And I'm going to ask everyone again, tune in every Tuesday and Thursday. You can watch the video podcast on youtube.com/MSP Unplugged. Or if you're a member of our Facebook group, facebook.com/MSP Unplugged. We need you to like, subscribe, hit the notification button to be notified whenever a new episode is available. And of course, if you think Paco and I, and I'm not going to put this on these guys here on our Huntress visitors, but if you think Paco and I have just a face for radio, you can catch us on your favorite podcatcher app. We're on Amazon Music, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. I want to thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time on MSP Unplugged.
Cheers. Thank you, gentlemen.